You are listening to the Workbench After Hours podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to the Second Amendment, where we talk about firearms, everything going on in the gun community, and we even try a different whiskey every week.
On this week's episode, we talk about attorney generals trying to ban 5.56 and why they're trying to do this. They're also trying to take away our magazines. And are you a minimalist or a prepper? And can you be both? And while we're doing all that, we're going to try Smoke Wagon bourbon. So stay tuned.
Welcome back to episode 102 of the Workbench After Hours podcast. Chris, what is this bottle in front of us here?
Smoke Wagon straight bourbon whiskey. So I was kind of reading the back of this, and I found it very interesting that it's only aged for 39 months. And I guess they take it from the top 2 floors of their warehouse, and they say that it's got a nice blend of delicate balance of rye spice, sweet notes of corn with toasted oak and caramel.
There you go.
And it's from Nevada.
Yeah, well, we haven't tried a whiskey outside of Kentucky in a while.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see. You've heard this was good.
I've heard this from a couple people. That's pretty good.
Okay.
So.
What was the proof? 92.5 proof. All right.
Not bad.
Nah. All right. Well.
It's a younger whiskey.
Yeah.
It's kind of dark though for.
It smells like a younger whiskey. Pretty much getting.
Yeah, you can get that spice, that real thick spice.
That kind of traditional caramel vanilla, but
Yeah.
I think mostly I'm getting spice.
I'm getting spice. I get a little bit of sweetness to it.
Yeah, maybe some oak.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's try it. A little different than what we're used to. It's on the back end. It gets sweet. Do you notice that?
A lot.
Like it starts off spicy and some other stuff going on there, but then it gets sweet.
This reminds me of another bourbon we've had, but I'm trying to remember back.
Oh God.
I know.
You got to go through 90 some bottles
Oh man,
to think of that.
because it tastes identical to whatever bourbon that we tried. Like it has the same profile, same taste.
I mean, it's not bad. It's definitely
not
good.
bad. Like if I feel like we've had this before, but another bottle.
So according to them, on the nose, you get a honey toasted nuts with some oak and heat, which, yeah, definitely get that.
You get the heat for sure.
Yeah. And then the taste, let's see how close this is. It's a creamy mouthfeel with initial rich sweet notes of honey and caramel on the tip of the tongue, followed by nuts. Wow. Oak and pepper spice that starts on the sides of your tongue. The nuttiness and oak fade as pepper spice from the rye take over entirely of your palate. Finishes with a creamy sweetness that coats, followed by once again oak and pepper spice that lingers.
It's pretty close. I don't like the creaminess they keep using and referring to.
Are you getting that though? That kind of.
Yeah, you are. Like I think that's pretty close to it. You get spice up front, and then slowly turns sweet, and then goes back to that peppery spice.
Yeah.
I think they did pretty good. I think it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, this way I would again say this is probably more towards beginner, someone that's getting into it, because there's not a whole lot going on. It's not too hot. So if you're just now getting into bourbon, this might be a good one for you. This, where did I find this? I found this at Total Wine.
Yeah.
Total Wine and Spirits. Don't remember what I paid.
I think I've seen it for like $35-40 maybe.
Sounds about right. Yeah, I don't think I would have paid more for a whiskey this young.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's definitely good. I definitely agree with that. You know, you get the honey and caramel, a lot of spice, definitely a lot of spice, and the finish is definitely turned sweet.
Yeah, turns sweet, and then it hits you again with that spice as it's going down.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. Like it is. Now that I'm thinking about it, there is a lot of honey.
Yeah.
Honey in this.
Honey and caramel.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's not my favorite by far, but
I just feels like
not bad.
I feel like we've had the same profile on another bourbon. Like it tastes almost identical to it.
Well, good luck remembering what that was.
Yeah, I know. We've had too many since
Was
then.
it something recent?
No, it's been a long time.
Gotcha.
Probably a year almost.
Well, it could be anything, honestly.
Yeah, it could. I don't feel like going through all the.
Put that out of the way just so it gets out of our way. But yeah, it's a good whiskey. If you can find it, try it. It's not anything special, but
Yeah.
hey, we're 90 plus bottles in of trying, so
Yeah.
it's time to pray. You got it.
It's hard.
Yeah. There's a bunch of others I've been wanting to try on the shelf, and yeah, it's like, whew.
Yeah. That, and then I keep looking for others.
I know. Well, if you see something that you normally don't see, it's like, oh man, you almost have to get that.
Yeah, it is. Like, I've been watching a bunch of reviews lately again on whiskey, and Jack Daniel's 12 year has been like the top 2 on every list I've seen. And I'm like, I got to find that bottle.
Right.
Find that. And then I want to try Old Forester came out with 1924, which is their 10 year. I want to try, but it's kind of pricey.
Well, I finally got my Hellcat Pro in.
I saw the bag over there in the chair, and I was going to ask.
Yeah, it came up. I got the gear up package, so it came with a pistol bag and 3 extra magazines, which is always nice. Springfield does that a lot with their pistols, which is really nice because magazines usually aren't pretty cheap. You're probably minimum $60 for those 3, so if not more. So not only did I get that, I got some stuff from Eclipse Holsters.
Nice.
We've had on podcast. So I got a dump tray just because I wanted something to hold all my EDC instead of just kind of having it sporadically everywhere or just, on a nightstand. I want to put everything on here. And the gun with the holster fits in here. So there's enough room for the gun, a wallet, probably a knife, phone. Yeah. I got a separate charger that I just set that phone
so do
on.
I.
But I got the color matched with the holster and then the dump tray. I went with the carbon fiber look on a dump tray though.
Yeah, it looks good.
Get it a little bit different. It's like a Springfield brown or something was the color name. Sort of weird. And then it's got this. I went with a different print on the inside that you can see there.
Yeah, I really like that print.
Yeah, I forgot what that's called, but it's one of the special prints on their website. So it's pretty cool and fits in there perfectly. I love their holsters. There's a nice tight fit. I might actually have to loosen it slightly, but I definitely love that color.
Yeah, flat dark earth, brown.
Yeah, it's not quite flat dark earth. It's like
it's a little bit darker.
Yeah,
it's
this
like
other color,
desert tan almost.
And I got their belt clip here. They also make clips if you're a woman or somebody that doesn't wear belts. They have the uni clip.
Yeah,
that you can use without having to wear a belt, which is nice. And then this wing thing that they have on the side kind of helps you tilt it to get a better concealed carry position. So, yeah.
it's pretty sweet.
Can't wait we need to take it out and shoot.
I know. I was thinking about Friday maybe going and shooting.
Well, it's supposed to snow again Friday.
I know. Well, I got that day off. Well, I got the majority of the day off since we've switched my schedule. But I got to take the oldest to a dentist appointment in the morning. And I was like, take him back to school. And then I got like probably 5 hours to waste before I have to go into work for an hour.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I know it's going to be super cold.
Yeah.
It's going to be super cold. We got a big old cold front. And the Chiefs game is this Saturday against the Dolphins. Those Dolphins are going to freeze.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the single digits with negative wind chills.
Yeah. Yesterday, man, it was freaking cold when that wind was blowing.
Yeah. I have no desire to go to that game.
Yeah.
Even if I were to get free tickets, I would turn them down.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to sit in the comfort and warmth of my own home.
I'll drink with my cheap whiskey.
I went to one game. It was like the day after Christmas a long time ago. And it never got out of the 20s, but it was still in the 20s. So it wasn't like as cold as it's going to be.
Yeah.
And that was miserable. Like, I was drinking beer for some stupid reason, and the beer was freezing. And so then, to warm up, I think we were taking a shot of, I don't know if we had whiskey or Jaeger, but it wasn't good, but it warmed your chest up real quick. And I had to have those hand warmers in my gloves and boots and a pair of long johns. And still, man, it still got cold.
Miserable.
Especially if there's no sun on you when you're in the stands and stuff.
Yeah, I went to the Chiefs-Broncos game, the snow game, and oh my God, it sucked.
Oh, I can't imagine it when it's snowing.
Oh, man. Trying to go to the bathroom with 4 layers on sucks.
Well, that and just trying to get to the bathroom when the steps are covered in snow, right?
Yeah, it was. I just stood the entire time, and I was like 4 layers deep, and then I had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, God dang it.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we win that one in advance.
Hopefully.
right, so we all should have known when Biden started the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, that should have been a huge red flag for all of us gun owners and Second Amendment supporters, because that's kind of their way to pass this stuff and introduce a lot of BS
Yeah.
legislation and everything. So there's two that actually came through recently, and it should come at no surprise because of everything going on. But the first one is, I think it was around 20-ish state attorney generals wrote a letter to this gun prevention program and basically want to ban 5.56 ammo. Imagine that, right? They keep, for some reason, and it's specifically the Lake City ammo plant, which there was some speculation a couple months ago that they were going to stop producing for the
5.56.
civilians and stockpile for the government, stuff like that, and that ended up not being true, which is good. But now they are specifically in this letter, and we'll go over what states are represented in this. It should come to no surprise, but they want to ban 5.56 ammo for civilian use because we should not have military grade ammo. How, and realistically, compared that to a 223 Remington, there's not that much difference.
I mean, you can get a wild barreled and shoot bow, so.
Right. So this is the actual letter here, and surprise, surprise, states of New York, Arizona, California, Connecticut, Delaware, DC, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington state. So that's all pretty much the states that are anti-gun for the most part.
Yep.
Arizona's like going pretty anti-gun here too recently, and you don't hear a lot about Minnesota, but I'm surprised they.
Yeah.
And Nevada, New Mexico, it's like, oh god. The other states, yeah, obviously, and they bring up several reports that are probably BS and other recent shootings that they have listed here. But according to recent reports, the ammunition made at Lake City, which is actually local to us, it's here in Independence, probably about 45 minutes to an hour from us. I've been by there. It's really cool. But ammunition made at Lake City for our military has been sold to civilians in mass quantities, leading to these bullets being used in mass shootings, including a shooting in where law enforcement officers were killed and multiple school shootings. Lake City rounds have become the ammunition of choice for use in mass shootings. And then they have several different mass shootings of late that supposedly had this. And they go on to say the shooter in Buffalo massacre discussed Lake City ammo as the best barrier penetration ammo I can get. Compounding the horror, the bullets used in this violence were subsidized by American taxpayers, as the federal government has apparently invested more than $860 million to improve production. Ammo from Lake City is manufactured for military use and does not belong in our communities. Federal courts have reportedly noted military nature of 5.56 millimeter rounds, which are used in military-issued rifles such as the M16. Military-style weapons and ammo specifically manufactured for them should be limited to military use. Even if military-grade ammo were appropriate for civilian market, its sale to private parties should not be subsidized by taxpayer dollars.
What?
Yeah. So in short term,
I'm not getting this ammo for free, am I?
Right.
If that's the case, bring it on.
Yeah, it's so freaking stupid. And yeah, they in short term, we ask your office to investigate the contracting and manufacturing practices that led to so many billions of military grade rounds being sold into our communities, and to issue a public report with recommendations about how to end the diversion of military ammo into civilian hands. In the long term, we ask the White House to ensure that future production contracts prohibit the sale of military weapons and ammo to civilians. So they're obviously going to still be going after our rifles
that aren't military grade.
Yep, and basically saying that there's a crisis and all this stuff. So unfortunately, Letitia James of New York State is the one that actually put this together and has the support of all those other states that we listed initially. So they've found out it's hard to go after the guns. So again, they're starting to go
after the ammo.
Yep. What are your thoughts on that, Chris?
I think it's BS in a way. I mean, what's going to be next? 9mm, 40, 45, because those are military grade size. So pretty much any ammo that's out there, they're going to say is military for military use only, not for civilians. They should never have it. So this is their runaround. So they're going to do that. So, you have guns. Now you don't have the tools to shoot them.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if this came out with that whole news story about Lake City not producing for the civilians, and maybe this triggered it and like, oh, well, I didn't know you produce for civilians. Now we're going to come after you. Honestly, though, a 5.56 is not going to do that much more damage than a 2.23, regular 2.23.
Oh, yeah. None.
I mean, I think the velocity is a little higher on the 5.56, but...
Yeah, but you could do that with a 2.23 with a little bit more grain.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah. And so...
I just think people like them that have bodyguards should just shut the F up and sit down.
Yeah, nowhere does it say, law enforcement can't have this.
Yeah. Because it also talked on one of the choices of the mass shooting. It said the racist.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that? The racist massacre at the supermarket of Buffalo, in which 10 people were murdered and 3 were wounded.
And this goes back to what constitutes as a mass shooting.
Yeah. And I don't know, because...
Granted, I mean, a lot of these probably do fall under that, but...
a lot of them are happening at schools because, first off, they're gun-free zones, so no one's going to have guns. A lot of school districts aren't putting resource officers in the schools because they can't afford it, because they'd rather put it on their sports teams, and then they want to cry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of spending the millions of dollars for your freaking sport team for your kid to play on, why don't you protect them with having an armed officer in each school?
Right.
And get rid of the gun-free zones, because that's part of the problem.
Yeah, because those are soft targets.
Yeah.
There's a reason they don't go...
I'm pretty sure all of us in school did cause and effects, right?
Mm-hmm.
At one point, cause and effect. If this happens, this will happen. And the snowball effect starts taking place. This is a snowball effect because of that gun-free zone.
Yeah. High school. Let's see. Another one is a synagogue shooting. And then we got another elementary school that happened in Uvalde. And then that supermarket in Buffalo. All of which you pretty much can't carry guns.
Yeah.
A lot of religious places don't allow you to carry guns. New York, Buffalo, New York supermarket, I'm assuming whether or not they allow you to carry a gun, it's hard to get the right to do that in New York anyway.
Yep.
So soft targets.
Yeah.
They know, yes, there's probably going to be eventually somebody there to stop them, but it's going to take them a while because they have to call the police. There's probably not armed guards there.
Yep.
Especially at a religious place.
Yeah, it'll take a while.
So they have more time to do what they want to do. And just like we talked about in UK and the knife problem,
it's the same thing.
It doesn't matter what it is. Okay, ban all the guns here, and then they're just going to start using something else.
Another thing is that we can go after this and how to prevent it, because it does go against our Second Amendment.
Yeah.
It's unconstitutional for what they're trying to do.
But they...
They're gonna try that. But
they think that the 2A was not written for us today.
A lot of them don't even know what the Second Amendment is. They don't know what tyranny is, and
they do because it's them right now.
Well, yeah, but they're like, really? You think so? Well, no, I don't think so.
Well, you're gonna need an F-16 to come after me.
Apparently not. We can just storm the gates and.
But when it says that American taxpayers had invested more than $860 million to improve the production of that ammo. Yes, I mean, a lot of that ammo does go to military contracts.
Yeah.
But they have enough left over to sell to civilians.
And they're actually making money off of it.
Yeah.
And putting it right back in. The tax-paying dollars is usually going there to help improve the manufacturing process so you can produce more in larger quantities. Because when time of war, if it does happen, guess what we're going to do? We're going to start upping everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we need money for that, and that does come from taxpayers. But they're also getting money back from the getting money put back into them, because we're getting taxed when we buy this ammo. It's going back to them. So really, it's a lose-lose for us taxpayers.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently this gun prevention office we're seeing a lot more and more go through this. After the whole ATF thing with all their final rules, or finally there's so many judgments after everyone that comes into play. Now you have a lot more going through this Office of Gun Violence Protection,
but they can't write the law either.
They can't, but they're obviously Democrats hold the Senate, so they can probably pass some of this through there. The House right now,
Shut
but
it down, hopefully.
who knows with the election coming up later this year, if for some reason the Democrats get both and something like this turns into a bill and gets sent, guess what?
Yeah, I'm with border being an issue right now, and they're just trying to make it where they can win. And then this election meddling saying people can't be on a ballot.
Well, and there's a lot of people that do feel like there needs to be some gun control. So this is going to be something for Biden to be like,
It's
oh,
crazy.
Look,
a lot of these
what we're
happen
doing.
in gun-controlled states where you can't have stuff and do this stuff.
Right.
Run by Democrats. Like the worst political party we have is the Democratic Party. They are not for you. They are a communism party. They're supported by communism. And Americans just need to wake up and start doing the research. Like, go back to history. History will repeat itself if you want to delete it. Guess what they're trying to do? They're trying to delete it. Why do they want to delete it? So they can go back and repeat themselves.
Yep.
The party has not changed since they've been up. They're always about taking away rights from you, but they're going to sit there and say, oh, but we're helping you. That's all a load of bullshit.
So in your mind, banning 5.56 ammo, 5.56 NATO round.
It's unconstitutional.
Well, that aside, do you think it would stop any of this?
No, because there's so much out there. And you can get it from other. At that point, if you're going to ban 5.56, you got to go to every manufacturer to stop this. You're not just going to one, because there's how many manufacturing plants? How many people reload?
Right.
You can't stop it.
If you ban it now, though, yes, there's going to be a time period where it's still available to civilians. But after so long, you figure people shoot it or stockpile it and don't give access to anybody. So somewhere down the line,
There's going to be
it's going to be
some out
really hard to get 5.56 for a civilian. So is that going to stop these mass shootings, or is
No.
it going to reduce the death rate of
No,
people
what they're
that
going
are
to go
getting
do
shot?
is they're going to go to a 2.23 round that we use for varmints and hunting, and they're going to use that next. And if they take that away, guess what? They're going to go down. They're going to go down. We got so much different types of ammo and calibers of guns that if there's a way, they're going to find it and they're going to use it. They're going to exploit it.
And then at the end of the letter there, where they said assault, like military grade ammo and weapons, we obviously know that means ARs, AKs.
Yeah, they're without saying it.
They
But it's-
banned 5.56, then eventually banned, AR-15s and AK-47s. Is that going to stop?
No.
If you look up a lot of the mass shootings or just gun violence in general, most of it is with pistols.
Yeah.
The ones that get the most media attention are the big black scary rifles, but a lot of gun crime is done with pistols.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I mean, the military carries, used to carry 1911. We should ban those.
Yeah.
We should ban the 45 ACP
See,
round.
this is our last resort.
Right.
If we get to this is like an old fuck moment. You don't want to be to a handgun when rifles are going on.
No, military, you do not want that.
That's like life or death right now. I'm trying to fight to save my life.
Right.
And hope to God I can get to a rifle.
And honestly, in home defense situations, for most people, an AR is most likely the best choice. Pistol is too hard to shoot for a lot of people and control. The rifle, you have shoulderable surface, so it has less recoil, and that recoil is not going to go crazy because of the rounds. And then with the shotgun, people are like, oh, spray and pray. Well, then if you have a pump shotgun, you might not be able to rack the slide. So that comes into play. It does have more recoil. And honestly, for a new beginner and most other new gun owners, a perfect home defense weapon is an AR.
Yeah.
So if you thought that was where they were stopping,
Oh, I know they're not stopping.
they're not stopping there. Wait, there's more. We now have the HR 625, which this is actually a bill. The last one was just a letter. This falls under the Keeping Americans Safe Act. And in this whole thing, they're going not after the ammo like was in the letter that we just read, but they are actually going after large capacity ammunition feeding devices. So this whole thing is basically them banning large capacity ammo devices, which, I mean, this isn't the first bill
we've seen
that we've
stuff
seen.
like this before.
Yeah. So they just keep coming after it, and they keep trying to ban high capacity magazines. It doesn't go through. So guess what? Let's come up with another bill that does the same damn thing. And eventually, I think they're hoping eventually it's going to get passed.
Yeah, I think we talked about this like a year ago. Like, if those don't pass, watch, they're going to go after ammo, and look what they're doing.
Yeah. So it was all initially, ban assault weapons. And now it's like, let's ban the other stuff to go along with those. So it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And this Office of Gun Violence Protection isn't helping. I honestly
just write to your Senate and tell them we don't want this.
Exactly. Vote your state attorney general out of office if they're in one of those states.
Yeah.
First of all,
I wish we just go in and clean house every 2 years, and then you have a max time you can be in office. That's what it needs to come down to. I think we should rewrite the Constitution on that, and that their base pay should be the median of Americans, because there's no reason they should be making as much money using our tax-paying dollars for health care and all that. I think they should be put on like Obamacare at that point. They should be paid what the median American makes and live like an American.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you'd get rid of a lot of these career politicians that don't do anything, but they say, I've been here for 30 years. I know everything. No, they don't. They haven't done anything, and they keep trying to do the same shit over and over.
List off everything that they think they've done, kind of like Biden did. I've been in office for 30 years. Here's everything
He also
I've done.
says he wasn't an activist in the civil rights movement, and then he turned around and then said he was. I mean, he's a liar. Like, if you go back in history, everything he's ever said, it's been a freaking lie. Even back 30 years ago.
Wait, you're telling me a politician lied?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
No.
crazy. Or he was the top of his class when he was actually the bottom of his class.
You think we would find Biden's name in that Jeffrey Epstein file?
Oh, I'm sure you would.
It's just not coming out.
Oh, I bet it's already there.
I know obviously they came out with Trump because, they wanted to do that.
Trump didn't ever go there, though.
Yeah.
He hated the guy because of his pedophile.
Which is good. But then coming out with all these other people, I'm sure Biden's on there somewhere, some sort of affiliation with the guy, but they're hiding that from us probably.
Oh, yeah. They're going to.
Because, look how creepy Joe is.
Obama was on there, I think.
Yeah. He was a high-profile guy and met with everybody.
You could tell Biden's a pedophile by the way he freaking goes and sniffs people and everything.
Right, yeah. Well, we've seen the clips with the kids petting his hairy legs and stuff like that. Yeah, he's and how he goes up and kisses these kids and stuff. It's like, dude.
If you don't know what he's a pedophile.
Yeah, so he's probably buddies with Epstein.
Oh, I'm sure he was.
They're just keeping that on a DL for now.
Yeah, until after he doesn't get elected. And then it's going to come out, breaking news.
So do you think, all right, so we ban high-capacity magazines. We ban 5.56.
No. They ain't going to stop us. Look at the UK. They banned guns. Now they have a knife problem.
Ban knives. What do you have then?
You still got bows and arrows. There's always going to be a weapon there. If there's a will, there's a way.
We're going back to bows and arrows.
We're going back to Indians. We gave them back their stuff, and they got slaughtered by our government because we'll protect you by killing you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about history.
Vehicles. People use vehicles all the time to mow down other people.
Yeah.
You make that argument when people are bitching about gun control, how we need to. And it's like, dude, it's the same thing with cars. Like, there's been
There's more deaths in America by cars.
Yes. Well, not just
than guns.
But there's been specific times where people actually rent a truck or whatever and just mow down crowds of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy probably couldn't get his hands on a gun, so he went to the next thing that he had available to him.
It just happened to be a rent-a-truck that's 20,000 pounds, and it's a box truck.
Yeah, bad people are going to do bad things.
Yeah.
No matter what, and they're going to use any means possible. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
We're going to start seeing nunchucks, those throwing stars, and freaking everything.
I actually made some on my 3D printer.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, throwing stars.
So, yeah, we talk about this all the time. But it's just they keep coming after the Second Amendment, and at some point,
eventually, you're going to piss off enough people. They're just going to say, "Screw it," and we'll go into a civil war over this because we're almost to that point.
And you hear a lot of people talk about that. What does today's civil war look like? Do you think?
Depends where you're at, really. I think the Civil War would be gruesome. beyond belief.
So what?
It'll be all of us people that want our guns and everything versus the people that don't.
So at this point, it's probably if you're red or blue.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be.
But I mean, is it going to be to where like you in a neighborhood you got fighting out in your street against neighbors, or would it be localized to like big cities?
And who knows?
Because in big cities, there's always riots.
It'll probably be like a purge, pretty much. If other states want to try to come in here and take our guns, well, good luck. You supposedly don't have anything.
Yeah, and that would be, God, that's iffy because say we do that and something happens and then the next big government comes in and takes over and is like, look what happens when all these civilians had guns. It started a civil war. We can't have that, so we're going to take all your guns. And at that point, the Second Amendment doesn't exist anymore. So
well, I'm pretty sure we know who's going to win that war.
The people with guns?
Yeah. And we will have our Second Amendment.
But everybody that owns a gun isn't specifically a Republican. I mean, there are a lot of gun owners that are Democrats too.
Yeah, but a lot of these states that want this crap, there's a lot more backlash from people than what they probably think.
Right.
They don't see the risk reward in what they're doing. They just want it for their own personal gain or some agenda that they're trying to push. And I think if we did go to civil war, the first thing people are probably going to try to do is straight overthrow the government right then and there. Take control and take power.
Which we found is not very hard.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize there'd be a lot more deaths outside of the war.
Oh, yeah. There'd be so many just like casualties from people.
No health care.
Yeah.
So, if say the grid goes down or something, or, all the doctors somehow die or have to go, obviously, attend to the wounded, you're not going to be able to get the cancer treatment, the whatever treatment that you have. So a lot of people are going to die from medical issues.
I mean, look at the autonomous zones that happen.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I think it'll probably go to. And then people probably going in and hacking certain parts of the grids for like water supply, electrical, and cutting certain things off that we know is a necessity because we know people can't live without freaking toilet paper thanks to COVID.
Yeah.
So take all that away and you're probably going to have a lot of people pissed off. I mean, a lot of people don't even know what they are, so you're going to have that problem too.
I think you're going to have...
Oh, it's scary because the news told me I can't hold that.
I think it's going to start off probably in the big cities with those riots and stuff like that. And then it's going to trickle down because then the people in the suburbs that are kind of just on watching aren't going to be able to go to the grocery store and get the food that they need. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be like, oh, well, my neighbor has this. I need it from them. Well, when that neighbor's like, no, I'm not going to get it. I have kids. I want it. You're going to do everything you can to take it from your neighbor. Then the neighbors start fighting and killing each other. And then it's just a bloodbath. And then disease from the dead bodies sitting everywhere.
Yeah. Not to mention getting into waterways and things like that.
Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah. There's supposed to be a movie coming out called Civil War. And it's supposed to be like a modern day civil war in the U.S.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would die outside of the war, just casualties from malnutrition, health issues.
Fighting each other instead of being neighborly. I don't know. I think
start using lawnmowers to kill each other.
Yeah, it'll be gruesome, but I'm pretty sure we all know how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, but then say once, how does society restart after that?
We're going to ask for all the other nations' help for rebuilding because we always help them.
Who do you think?
Oh, wait, that won't happen. They'll laugh at us and call us stupid because that's what they're doing now.
It's scary. And it's like, okay, so this new government comes, like, what would it be like anymore?
Yeah.
This stuff, it's like, the ice has definitely dumbed down a lot of the flavor. So it's just
really sweet.
It's pretty sweet right now. A lot of the spice has gone away.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, I don't think the Civil War will last long.
I know I wouldn't want to be a part of it, and I mean, and that's I wanted to do a whole nother topic on this other thing that kind of coincides with the Civil War thing, but I guess we could swing into this. With the new year, everybody sets new goals, right?
Yeah,
and a lot of things that people are doing now is kind of turning more towards minimalism, and that's like owning less stuff, basically. When you first hear a minimalist, you think of the person that's living in a tiny house.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the case. Yeah, there are people that go to that extreme. But for the most part, living as a minimalist vaguely is, somebody that just gets rid of everything that they don't need. So they only have the essentials that they need. They don't have I've been watching a couple different channels just because it's like interesting. And I'm like, I get it. And I kind of want to do it. But then on the same side, it's like,
I can't do it.
yeah, because a lot of them are like, all right, if you haven't used this item in your house for 6 months or more,
Get rid of it.
do you need it? No. So get rid of it. And there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, yes, I don't. But it's the the prepper part of you that thinks about things. It's like, but I could need that.
Because we all know the day we get rid of something is the day we're going to need it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a simple fact.
And it's
doesn't fail.
And I think, and the thing I wanted to do is, can you be a minimalist and a prepper at the same time? And I think there's a way you can achieve that. Like with me, I have a bunch of clothes that I've had. Like, I rarely get rid of clothes, but I've had clothes that I've had forever that I don't fit in it anymore. And probably like a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm going to lose weight and then I'll be able to fit in those. Well, guess what? It's been several years. I say that every year and it never happens. But it's like, I don't want to get rid of those just in case.
Yeah.
And it's like, realistically, even if I do lose weight, am I going to wear those again? Or am I just going to go buy something new? So
depends on the shirt.
Right. So it's, I got, unfortunately, my wife and I got clothes that go outside of our bedroom into our spare rooms. And it's like, I also think about it like, you never know when you're going to die. And everybody's left with all your stuff and figuring out what to do with it. And and a lot of it just gets thrown away.
I claim all your guns.
Right?
And
unless you have like a lot of like stuff that's valuable and people want and take. Other stuff like clothes and like keepsakes and stuff like that, people don't care about and it gets thrown out anyway. So it's like, why do we keep that? My sister and I, our mom passed away several years ago, but my mom always kept everything that we did with school. So we had, she kept like literally school projects, every paper we wrote, all our grade cards. She kept my first pair of glasses. I had my cast when I broke my wrist. She literally kept everything. And she gave us those tubs. And my sister and I are like, there were like 2 big tubs of this stuff. And every time I'd go through it, it's cool because it's like, oh, I remember this, I remember this. But then at the same time, it's like, well, if something happens to me, somebody inherits this. This means nothing to them. So they're going to throw it away. So we ended up, she had an easier time at getting rid of stuff than I did. I'm like, man, but I like having this because, but, and that's what everybody's thing is, well, that thing reminds you of that memory, but is it serving a purpose? Like that stuff is taking up space and kind of cluttering it. So I just was like, all right, I'm going to keep the things that mean the most. And then all this other crap, like, do I need my school papers from when I was like, in elementary school? No.
Yeah, I had to show my kids that we had typewriters instead of printers and computers.
So it's like that stuff you don't need. There's a lot of stuff to where I'm like, I have a hard time getting rid of because I'm like, my mom bought me that. And I don't want to get rid, even though it's like a piece of clothing. It's like there's that
memory is attached to it.
So that stuff has been hard for me. But like recently, I've been selling my guitar equipment because I haven't picked up a guitar in like 2 years. And I'm like, I'm gonna play someday. I could just pick it up and play. No, it's been 2 years. I haven't pulled it out. So stuff like that. I think like things that I don't actually use and it's just taking up room. Like anything that's in a tub in the garage or storage area, I think we're gonna start just getting rid of. And hopefully being a little more minimalistic. But as far as like people that go to the extreme, I don't know about that. Like having just like a week's worth of clothing or
I got like months.
Right. Or it's like if you have a YouTube channel, you have a lot of gear.
Yeah.
And you might not use everything all the time, but it's like, okay, well, I might need this cord for this and all this stuff. So and then looking in my garage, I'm like, there's a lot of crap in here. But then as I'm looking at stuff, it's like, I don't use that all the time, but I use it like our snow blower. We had to use it yesterday because it snowed. Do I use that often? No.
But you need it, yes.
Yeah. And then it's like some of the other tools and things. It's like,
Yeah, I don't know. I think.
I mean, are you kind of like that to where you have like sentimental value to stuff that you don't want to get away?
Oh
rid
yeah,
of?
I got a lot of that, especially if it's from mom
Yeah.
and dad. So, and then like stuff from when Kat and I first dated, I still got some of that stuff.
Mhm.
So, like I don't know, like I have a couple school papers that I was like, oh, this was a really good paper. I'm gonna keep it,
Right.
and that's about it.
But you don't have a bunch of crap from your whole childhood.
Not really.
I don't anymore. I threw it all away. I literally filled up like 2 trash bags of stuff, and I felt bad, but I'm like, I don't need my cast
Yeah.
from, and it was gross anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need my pairs of glasses from when I was a kid because, again, those were gross. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I mean, I kept some school projects that I did that were really cool.
Yeah.
Kept those, and obviously my yearbooks, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I think yearbooks are good.
Yeah, like my Letterman jacket, I kept that because,
Yeah.
you know, kind of cool. We were in marching band. My mom actually bought my old marching band uniform. So I kept that just because I don't know
Yeah, that's
why.
cool.
I'm never going to be able to fit into it but again.
Back in my day, this is how small I was.
Yes. Dang. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like I've got music probably throughout when I first started playing trumpet to college. I still got certain stuff,
Right.
but I don't know.
Yeah. And like with that, there's a Mosin crate next to Chris.
Yep.
Holding a TV, and I got, you know, several Mosins in there and the accessories that go with those. But it's like they've been in that crate unopened for a long time.
Those are what I call assets.
Right.
They're positive assets because you can always, if shit really hit the fan, you can always sell and make a pretty penny.
Right. Or right now, sell them and make a
Yeah.
printed penny. Because I mean,
I'm sure they're just going to keep going up in value.
Yeah, because I mean, those I
like-
sold several of those to help pay for my wedding.
Yeah.
Because they went up from when I paid $100 to where I sold them for like almost $500.
Yeah. So I'm sure they're just going to keep going. So
Yeah, but then there's the other side of me is like, do I really need these? And if something were to happen to me, then somebody's just gonna be like, what the hell are these old ass guns?
I don't know what they are.
Right? I don't know. So becoming a minimalist is difficult, but I think if you just start it in small stages.
Yeah, we did that probably 2 years ago. We started we hung our clothes a certain way so we'd know if we wore it or not. And if we didn't wear it in that year, we donate it.
And yours is probably like more or harder because you have kids.
Yeah, like we're
So you
always
got all those toys. And
every year we're going through and like we haven't seen you play with this in about a year, so it's trash or donation.
right.
And we usually donate like Toys for Tots around Christmas times.
So from a prepper side, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you want to have.
Yeah.
But you're more than likely not going to use unless something bad happens and you need it. So how can we mix becoming a minimalist but also still being prepared for something, maybe not even the Civil War, but like if
Like a disaster or something,
yeah,
national disaster,
say
tornado.
you're without power for, you know, a month, or something happens to where you can't go to the grocery store, a cyber attack happens and it takes a while to get the power back up. I think if you
can plan it out right.
don't
You
buy
can do
shit
it.
you know you're not going to use, like there's all these YouTube videos out there, people showing all this cool gear and you need this if there's an attack, and it's like, it's a cheap piece of crap. It's probably going to break. And would you even use that gear or know how to use it?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
I don't know.
Buy stuff you know, like when it comes to prepping for food,
Yeah.
buy stuff that
That
you
you know
eat.
is going to last or you're going to like.
Yeah, buy stuff that you eat now and buy more to and
Well,
just
that-
rotate.
Yeah. That's
And
what you have to do is like every year almost do like an inventory and like life cycle on things.
Yeah, and if it's looking like it's coming up on expiration, well then rotate it. Use that for your next meal, and then
Yep.
replace that with
A brand new one or something.
Yeah. I need to start doing that. Obviously, we have free dried food,
Yeah.
but that stuff is so bad for you. It's I mean, if you actually read the label, like it's all sodium.
Yeah.
You can't live off that long term. MREs are a little bit different.
Yeah.
I still have a hard time with those because it's like they have a 5-year shelf life, supposedly.
I've seen them for 10, 25 years.
But would you really want to eat one that's been sitting there for 10, 15 years?
I mean, they're vacuum sealed.
Yeah. I don't know.
It lasts long.
I saw a guy
I mean,
open
the
one.
military spent probably billions of dollars for that.
Yeah.
You would think that.
I saw, I don't know if it was a TikTok. I think it was probably a TikTok or something where a guy had like an old emergency pack for military back in World War II.
Yeah.
And like he opened the crackers and the crackers were still intact and like everything was still there and not technically spoiled. He was eating them, but then it said part 2, but I don't know how to go to part 2s on TikTok, so I didn't get to see how they ended up. But it was funny seeing him unwrap this because it was literally like wrappers and like labels from like
the 50s.
The 50s. And it's like, man, that's crazy.
That'd be awesome.
And a lot of, I mean, it was still, it looked like food.
Yeah.
It's like, man. So I think if you focus on certain areas and just like have some medical supplies.
Yeah.
And, as they expire, rotate them. If you don't fall in that trap of buying a bunch of shit that you probably won't use. Like, gear acquisition syndrome applies to that too. Like I used to buy all this stuff thinking I was going to use it in case the world ended. And then I ended up throwing like most of it away. I'm like, I don't need these cheap knives. What am I going to do with all this stuff? And it's like, if you do it right, I think there's a way you can blend becoming a minimalist, being a prepper.
I think you probably, because you're supposed to prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Like have a generator.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to use that very often.
Water and food.
Yeah.
Supplies if that generator goes down, how you can keep it going.
Mm-hmm. And that's stuff you could store outside of your house too, if you want to be minimalistic in your house. But then say you have a shed or a garage or a shop or whatever.
I really wish we'd go back to like the 40s and 50s where they had built-in like bunkers. Yeah. That'd be so cool.
My grandpa's house had one because he lived in Shawnee.
Yeah.
And his house was built in the 40s, 50s. And he hired a contractor to redo his kitchen and do all those repairs. And one of them consisted of breaking up the patio that was outside. And so they were using large equipment to try and break up this patio. And they're like, we cannot bust this concrete. Turns out, and there was this weird like little tube, like a hole in the concrete. And we're like, what the hell is that too? Well, when they pulled up the floor of the kitchen, they found that at one point there was an access hole there, and underneath the patio slab was a bomb shelter.
Yeah.
And that it was all reinforced concrete, which is why they couldn't do it. So he actually stuck a camera down that little that hole that used to be a vent, but it got cut off and was just a hole. And it was a little bunker filled with water and shit that you couldn't get into. But it's like, man,
that'd be so cool.
People need those nowadays. Like we need to start rebuilding those. But the fact that the entrance was in the kitchen, but then it's like at some point, Cold War ended and somebody somewhere down the line sealed that whole thing up. Yeah. Where could you imagine if they didn't?
Oh man.
Like that'd be cool. Yeah. I'd buy that house just for that.
Yeah. I've been like watching like, oh, look what I found in my 80-year-old house. And they're always finding like bunkers and stuff. I was like, oh man, that'd be so awesome. Mm-hmm. And then the ventilation, checking it still works. And it's like,
or be the guy that finds like old booze from like the Prohibition area stashed away.
I saw one today, like the HVAC guy was working. He found in like the crawl space Playboy. And he's like, oh, all the centerfolds are already torn out.
What are these pages sticking together?
Yeah. But I was like, dang.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That's what I like the history of having an old house. But then owning a whole old house sucks when it comes to maintenance and repairs.
My biggest worry is ghosts and hauntings and possession.
Yep. We had some issues in our old house. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it'd be just so cool to have your own like little bunker.
Yeah.
Like Rambo.
Yeah. And it's getting to the point to where it's
almost needed again.
But, and what sucks is it's hard where we live because they bury everything underground.
Yeah, any more electricals all underground.
Plumbing. Which is good for us during like storms and everything because like it snowed recently and we had the heavy wet snow. So everywhere in the old neighborhoods at old trees, branches were falling, knocking out power. So there were like a ton of people without power, super cold and snow. People were going out buying generators and stuff. And it's like, well, if you would have just prepared, you would have known to have a generator handy. That way you just go out and grab it. But here, we don't have to worry about that because all our stuff is underground.
Yep.
But then if you want to build something in the ground, there's a lot of shit you got to work around.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks. Like I bought like these tubes on Amazon a long time ago to where you could put stuff in there and bury them underground.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well, shit. I bought those when the last election was coming. I'm like, oh, Biden's gonna want to ban all this shit, so I'm gonna bury it. Never did, but it's like I don't know where to bury it because you got the sprinklers, you got the electric, you got the cable, like all this stuff to worry about in our backyard, and a lot of it's pretty shallow.
I know where everything's at now because they went back there this last summer and marked everything. And I dug a trench for one of them.
Yeah. There you go.
I just know middle of the backyard, I'm good.
But I think having a generator would be...
I think that or a power bank of some sort.
Yeah, some way to get power, especially like now, winter time. There's a big winter storm moving through the U.S. and unfortunately a bunch of tornadoes down south.
Yeah.
It's having the right things to keep and hold on to, but then getting rid of the stuff you don't need.
Yeah.
Because if there's a cyber attack and say there is a civil war, are you going to need your freaking school papers from elementary school? No.
Yeah.
I'm not
for
going to
fire.
need that. Well, actually, true. Fair enough. Fair enough.
There's always something you can find. A will, there's a way.
I guess you got to think about it. Like, all right, could I use this in a SHT scenario? If not, get rid of it.
If it burns, it's good. It's warmth.
All right, yeah, there's that. Yeah, I think maybe getting that, maybe you're prepping stuff out of your house will kind of help too, or have a designated area in your house for your preps, and that way all that clutter and stuff that you're storing isn't in your regular house. And it's because a lot of those minimalists talk about how like all the stuff that we have kind of fucks with us mentally, which I kind of get.
Yeah, especially if you got mental or sentimental value with it.
Yeah, and just clutter mess, and then you throw it, and then just more clutter, and that really...
Yeah, like it's... Like cleaning out my desk sometimes just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so much crap, you don't even know what to do
I
with
got
it.
like a lot of pens and pencils. Like I always got pens because I'm coming home from work, and I always forget that it's in my pocket.
Right.
Or Sharpies or whatnot, and then I got all my schoolwork from papers and like quizzes that I took. So, and then I'm like, God, do I really need this? Well, this stuff I could be used later down the road on this, but I guess I can always go look it up online.
Yeah, as long as there's internet.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have this year, I think my wife and I are on the same pages. There's a lot of stuff. We don't have kids, so it's a little bit easier for us. So stuff that we don't use. And like stuff, especially stuff that's like in tubs and boxes.
Yeah.
Are we ever going to really realistically use that again?
Yeah. Like,
if not, sell it, get some extra money if we can.
I know every year we probably go and drop off like 5 or 6 totes to Goodwill. Mm-hmm. And it's usually like toys and clothes. But what we do with the boys, like clothes-wise, like if they grow out of it, we'll find like the better ones that they have that are still good, like maybe a Ralph Lauren outfit or whatnot, and we'll put it in a tote just for them. So when they get older and if they just decide to have kids, here's a tote of boy clothes from you when you were a child that we know is good. It's got a cedar block in it. Yeah. So it kind of helps them way in the future. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah. What's really depressing and sucks is if you get a big pile of stuff that you're going to, say, take to Goodwill. Just stuff you're ready to get rid of.
Yeah.
But if you think about how much all of that stuff costs.
Yeah, don't. You can't think that way.
It's
I've
oh
done
my
that
God.
I've done that a couple times. Like, man, there's probably like $5,000 worth of shit in here.
And I'm giving it away for free.
Yeah. And they're going to turn around and sell it and make money off of it.
It sucks.
But
like, what trying to sell, like, even having a garage sale, people like freaking nickel and dime.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I have $1 on this and you're offering me a dime. Really? Get bent. Like, come on.
It's already cheap enough.
Right. So I hate garage sales for that specific reason.
I know people now that just go and try to buy stuff super cheap on garage sales and then turn around and flip it.
Oh yeah, that's a whole thing now.
Yeah.
Which I mean, to each his own. I mean, if you do that,
I just don't want to waste the time doing it.
Yeah, or you get the people that go during trash day.
Yeah.
Taking stuff like we get all these scrappers going around, and I'm sure they turn around.
Good for them.
Yeah. Hey, I've used them for a lot of stuff. I put a lot of stuff hoping they take it, and sure enough, they take it.
Yeah.
So hey.
Yeah, they did that when I did like a big trash pickup one time. They came, picked up all the stuff that was value, and I was like, oh well, gets it out of my garage.
Yeah. But I definitely want to focus on getting rid of a lot of stuff I don't need just to, because we do have, for, eventually I'd like to downsize the house, but in today's market, that's not going to happen. But I want to get rid of a lot of crap that we don't use. And then it's like anything were to happen to us and, people that don't have to go through it. Because we've had that happen so many times where somebody in the family dies and then you got to go through all their stuff. And most of the time you're throwing away a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't want that to happen. Although I got a lot of other shit that, of course, a lot of it's got some value, I guess.
Yeah. Whiskey, bourbon.
Whiskey, guns, cameras, and all this stuff.
Computers.
Yeah. Seems like freaking computers. I don't want to talk about those. But, and then I'm going to be doing, I have an office desk over there. I'm going to be getting a sit-stand desk.
Yeah.
And doing a cool setup over there.
Yeah, I really want a bigger house.
Right? I want a smaller house.
I want a bigger house so we can have an office. And then the boys
buy this house.
No, we need bigger still. I need a big garage. I need a 4-car garage. On the fourth one where it's deep,
what's going to happen is you're just going to collect. The bigger house you get, you're going to get more stuff, though.
No.
That's what happens.
I'm not
you say that, but then you end up filling up that space.
No.
So if you were to take the minimalistic approach, and because your garage is you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I got a lot of spare parts.
And you keep all these spare parts for your cars, but let's be honest, a lot of those are just sitting there.
Yeah.
Probably never going to be used again by you.
Oh, they might.
But are they realistically?
Yeah.
Or could you just sell them? Get the money for them and clear up the space.
What I want to really do, like this summer, my goal in my garage is to go through, because I got totes of engine parts and stuff. I want to build a complete motor that I know will be good to have on a stand. Everything else, I want to just get rid of. Or if I don't have a need for it, get rid of it.
You know what we need to do is somehow build that charger.
Yeah.
And get it to where it works. Because there's no computer, right?
No, it's all carbureted.
Get that to where it just works. In case something were to happen, like a cyber attack or an EMP, you have the car that works.
Yeah.
So you can.
That's going to cost a lot of money.
But it'll be worth it.
It would be.
Scenario where our modern day cars don't work.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific place in your house or anywhere where you have like some of your prepping stuff? Or do you even?
No, not really. Just basement probably. That's where.
Do you guys have any extra like food or anything stored away or?
Not really, because we always have canned goods in the house. We always have water.
Do you know what you have on hand? How long that would probably last you with the family of 4?
No, not really. Well, Mason would starve because he doesn't like anything. So just be 3 of us eating, unless it's chips.
Yeah.
Chips, crackers, and that's all Mason would want to eat.
Well, just get a bunch of boxes of crackers and it'll be good for him.
Chips. That's all.
Yeah, so I got into prepping really heavy back when I lived in an apartment, and then I bought a house, and then money has to go elsewhere when you buy a house. I want to get back into buying the right stuff.
Yeah.
Like we have the generator. It's hard to keeping on hand is gas because it stays good for so long.
Well, that and a lot of this stuff now is ethanol. So you need to find stuff without ethanol in it.
Right.
Which you can buy. It's a little more, but it's worth it.
We got, fucking like 5 propane tanks.
Yeah.
So that's good for our grill. But I think we need to get, my wife is good at like taking just minimalistic stuff in a kitchen and turning it into a meal. So I think we're good there, but I still want to have more stuff stored away. I had like a shelf where we had a bunch of stuff, especially canned goods, but those expired and we just threw them away and never replaced them. So I want to get a little bit of stuff going just because the way things are going.
I really just want to buy MREs and call it a day.
Need to find ones to where they're not already 5-year shelf.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah, I got some dry food that's good until like 2040.
Have honey. Honey doesn't expire.
Yeah.
So.
And do you have any? Probably we're good on the guns and ammo.
Yeah.
Probably. So it's the other stuff like medical stuff. I probably need to.
We got
do a little bit.
We got a couple first aid kits in the house. We also have one in the car.
Yeah.
So.
Need to get you a vest, body armor kit before it.
I've got a gas mask from the military.
I don't. I had one. I sold it. I need to get another one.
Yeah.
I had one that came with like a gun that I bought, and it was an old. It wasn't a U.S. military surplus. It was like some other country.
I really want to go to. I haven't been to Mickey surplus in forever.
They didn't have a lot of as far as
I
gas
just,
mask goes.
well, I just want to go there for certain things.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they got MREs and things like that.
So, long story short, I think there's a balance you can find between
Oh,
minimalism and prepping.
Oh, yeah. Just knowing what you're planning for. I think that's going to be the hardest part with prepping. Are you planning for a national disaster or are you planning for a civil war?
I think plan for the worst, I guess.
Yeah.
But you want to have, it's nice to have guns and ammo. Great. But that's only going to go so far. You need stuff to barter. So maybe having a little bit more on that. Booze is good for barter too.
Smokes.
A lot of people like invest in like that the silver bars and stuff, which isn't a bad idea, depending on the cost. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because money's not going to be very relevant, so people are going to want stuff that they need. So I'm having a little bit of extra. Like say you have like a little more ammo than you might need. You could use that for barter and extra guns that you won't need. Give like if you got a shit ton of Mosins. That's a good barter item.
Yeah.
So maybe if you want to go the minimalistic route, plan it to where you can still prep and maybe have those in a designated area, but then declutter the rest of your house.
Yeah.
Like
always be prepared. That's what we got taught in Scouts.
Right. I need to do better this year on that.
Like I don't know, have fishing equipment.
Yeah, I have a pole,
so you can go fish and catch food if you need to.
Yeah, I don't have a pole. That's it. And I got rid of my tackle box, actually. So I literally have a pole that I've never used, by the way.
Yeah,
I bought it brand new. Never have not used it. It's been hanging in my shed for 4 years, 5 years.
I've used the shit out of that pole.
I need to take that thing out and use it.
That's like my work pole now. I use it at work.
Do you have a generator?
Nope.
Need to get one. Better to have it than not need it.
I can always start a fire. That's all I need. I just need warmth.
But say, like, for some reason, like right now, this weekend it's going to get into stupid, crazy cold. Say for some reason we end up like California or Texas where they do blackouts. And then you're blacked out for a long time. You know, frozen pipes are a big thing.
At that point, I just go try to do solar probably.
Yeah.
And just run your space heaters and then have a... I'm almost to the point of just doing solar with power banks is what I would do.
And we talked about this. I want to do a little more research on this. Like, it's in a situation where the SHTF, you can't sell it back to the power grid. How's that? Like, you get to keep all your power that you harvest.
Yep. You got battery banks, and then your solar is recharging those power banks.
How long do you think you can go on just the solar power?
Oh, I'm sure you can go probably a day or two, easy, maybe 3.
I wonder what
it all depends on what it's used, how much you got hooked up for load.
Yeah,
it's all gonna be based off your kilowatt hours.
I want to know the cost because I know there's you don't actually own the panels.
Well, you can.
Most of the time. Sometimes you rent them.
Yeah,
I deal with this stuff with my job when we're replacing a roof. Usually, there's a company that owns the panels, and they got to come out there, detach them, and reset them.
Yeah,
when you replace it, and it depends on where you're at, what state.
Yeah,
company.
Like, if money was no object, I'd have a Tesla solar roof on the house. Mm-hmm. Is what I would like to do because they're shatterproof and all that. It's actually your tile, but it's quite pricey.
Right. Another thing people don't think about in a Civil War situation, say your house gets fucked up somehow. Yeah. Guess what? There's no insurance.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's another thing to think about too is like, shit. It gets super cold and we don't have power. Your pipes burst and freeze. If we still have running water, I guess. There's that issue.
At that point, I think I'd turn off my water to the house if we're in that and turn it on as you need.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you're not going to be worrying about showering and bathing. You're just going to be more about food and survival.
Yeah. Let's hope it doesn't come to that because that would really suck.
At that point, I'm moving to a different
It's
state.
good to be like, oh yeah, we're in Civil War and do this. Well, you got to think about the whole big picture of how it's going to really affect. No more going to Starbucks or a fucking coffee for probably ever.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna.
Yeah,
it's
that's
gonna
gonna
suck.
be crazy.
Yeah, no more Amazon. Oh, I need a whatever. I'm gonna have it delivered in 2
I need
days.
my yoga pants. Stay warm.
Yeah, nope. Sorry, no more 2-day delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going bye. Yeah, that's what we had.
Yeah. Be prepared.
Be prepared and fuck the people doing this gun control stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, they're coming after your stuff, so make sure to vote properly. And another thing is like Maine and Colorado were trying to get Trump off the ballot,
Yep.
which who knows what's going to happen with that.
Last time that happened, I went into a civil war. Just saying.
Yeah, so get rid of a bunch of shit you don't actually need and would be beneficial, and then maybe sell that and get, maybe a generator or some extra gas or some extra food or water. Because I think a lot of people think like you need 5 gallons of water per person per day is what they said.
You don't need that much.
I mean, I don't know. I drink a lot of water.
I don't.
We have dogs that drink a lot of water, and then you got to figure in bathing. Which you're not going to do every day, but when you do bathe,
Bathing and cooking.
yeah, cooking, basically everything takes.
Yeah.
And then, shit, you got to clean your clothes somehow.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to.
When I was in the military, it's 2.9 or 2.5 gallons per person per day.
And that's military, so they're super strict.
Yeah.
So I would give it a little bit more
Yeah.
for your average person, and yeah, it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
'Cause
I don't drink a lot of water as is, so
probably should.
should. Don't.
Chris's New Year's resolution: drink water.
Yeah. And work out.
Well, if you guys have any questions, any input on anything, let us know down in the comments. If there's anything you want us to talk about in the future or anything, let us know. Yeah. And if you liked at the beginning of this episode the dump tray and holster from Eclipse Holsters, check them out. There's actually another one behind us with a different design for my wife's gun. They basically any gun that most guns that you have now, they make. And you can, the cool thing is there's so many different prints that you can pick. And while it's not the cheapest holster, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, it's a high quality holster.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Like they're even messing with like different color fasteners now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
you can
aluminum and
pick the color fasteners and all this shit.
yeah. You can go crazy.
Yeah, you can. And they definitely have holiday sales all the time and everything. So definitely I waited until holiday sale to buy this stuff. So it's awesome.
Did she still put her notes in?
She wrote "thank you" on a thing, or I don't know if she did, but somebody wrote "thank you," and I got another Eclipse holster.
She says that's what she likes to do. Remember?
Yeah, somebody put "thank you"
Yep.
on there. So yeah, pretty cool. Family owned operation in Virginia.
Yeah.
So and honestly, like it didn't take that long from ordering to get it to getting it. There was a little bit of a weather delay because of the snow and stuff, but that's not their fault. But the turnaround time was pretty quick. I think they said it ships in 1 to 3 days or something like that. So pretty cool. And again, like if you want to match a dump tray to your holster, you could do that or whatever.
Yeah, they got a lot of crazy prints.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Can't wait. I've been waiting for this setup so I can start carrying again. Now I just have to wait for it to stop snowing so I can leave the house and actually carry it. But yeah, and then I think on that one I got my wife the uni clip. So
I can't remember which one I had on mine.
I don't know if you got this one or the other one where it's the 2.
I think it was the 2 one.
Yeah. And you got that for your Glock 19?
19. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this Delta Wing
Yeah.
affects it. You could get a kit, which I got to remove this if you don't ever use it, and then you just put the regular screws in there. But pretty cool. Glad I could have a spot to dump all my crap out of my pockets so I'm not looking for my shit every time I need to leave the house.
Yep.
That's annoying. Like, oh, I left my wallet upstairs. Now I got to take off my shoes and go upstairs.
We always got a thing in the kitchen. I always get in trouble for Cat because I always put all my stuff right there on the counter. It's like,
well, if you get a specific tray like this, they come in a couple different sizes.
Yeah, I know. But anymore, she just puts out like a little plate for me.
There is some company that makes something similar to this, but then was something else involved with it to where it had a magnetic charger where you set your cell phone and stuff.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. I forgot where I saw that, but I'm like, that's cool.
Mine's next to my bed, and it's so.
Yeah. I have guns situated everywhere. I'm not sure. Because I got a specific gun in my bedroom in my nightstand.
Yeah.
For home defense. This is not my home defense gun. This is my carry gun, but I guess if I need it, I don't know.
Can never have too many.
Right. Honestly, if anything happens, I'm running in here and grabbing. So probably going to grab that 300 blackout, and I got a magazine on the other side loaded with some ammo for that. So that's probably going to be my first thing. And if I can't make it in here, then I got to figure something else out. But yeah, going with that guy down there. And God, I cannot wait until that anodized red set comes in from Arrow.
Oh, I'm waiting to see it.
It's going to be, they said 3 to 4 weeks. So damn it.
Dang it.
I know. It's got to figure out how we should build it.
Yeah.
You guys have any ideas? Should I just go 223-556, maybe just to piss off the attorney generals and just use 556, or should I go a different route? I already have a 300 blackout, so I don't want to go 300 blackout. You were saying
458 SOCOM.
yes. Should I do that? I don't
I
know.
think you should.
We'll see.
It's a big round.
I have never shot one. I've actually never seen one of those rounds in person.
You have to look it up. It's crazy.
How price wise? How are they? Pretty
They're probably up there.
more than our 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah.
Damn. All right, that's a no go. Want something I can afford to shoot.
But it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. Well, yeah. If you guys have any questions, comments, let us know down in the comment section of YouTube. Give us a shout if you're listening to audio only. Boomsticktactical@gmail.com. Look up the website, boomstick-tactical.com. Pretty easy, I guess. We're on Facebook for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it out. So, Chris.
Remember, this is a YouTube podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and tickle that bell. If you're listening on other platforms, please hit that follow button. And with that, have a good one.